Calbro.
Here.
District 2, Mr. George Nagel.
Here.
District 3, Mr. Gary Cruikshank.
Here.
District 4, Mr. Dale Wembley.
Here.
District 5, Mr. Darrell Cobo.
Here.
Police Chief, Mr. Albert Venable.
Here.
Town Attorney, Mr. Brad Andrews. And Town Clerk, Mr. Todd B. Shaw.
Here.
Okay, recognition of special guests. Okay. Consider revision of agenda.
Yes, sorry. Chief, we need to amend the agenda to add the hiring of Kim Folte as a part-time officer. That's on a recommendation by me, Chief, on the recommendation of me. I was said it right for the agenda, but it's up to the council to make a motion to add that. And put it out the rules. It's gotta be unanimous.
To be under legal?
Yeah.
They'd like to
You want to put that under D?
make a motion to,
Yeah, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Move it under, don't move it under legal. Chief is on the audit for the police reports.
You put it in legal on chief, police probably better, but, that's what I think legal, it's not legal. Put it under police matters if you don't mind.
So we, under item 2D, police report.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one opposes?
Mayor, I have another addition I'd like to
Okay.
make a motion on. I move that we add the Garin Building / Church Point Volunteers Fire Department.
Okay, I have a statement at the end, Gene. This is the way they're taken care of. Okay. Is it concerning that, I mean, signing of the lease and so forth?
It is, yes, yes.
Been taken care of. Yeah, you still
It
want to add
has been taken care of?
Well, there's some questions I think that,
Do you have some questions that you need to?
Yeah, can we just go ahead and put it on the
Okay,
agenda?
that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion?
make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman, can I ask you guys, I guess my hearing is bad, to maybe speak louder? And if I understood the city attorney, he said that he made a recommendation for a officer?
No. She's made the recommendation to me to put it, to add to the agenda. I'm just the voice for the chief
Okay.
to add it to the agenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Chief, the motion is actually what now?
You can title it, I'm sorry, it was Councilwoman who actually made the motion.
To elaborate on the
The Garin Building.
Garin Building discussion.
So that's gonna be, I guess, under announcements by mayor.
You know, just.
Yeah.
We haven't voted on
this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we did, I'm jumping in.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries to add Gary Building. Okay, Gary.
I don't see on the agenda, we have the February income statement. And I know we approved the January last month. Should we be approving the February? Got you. There it is. It's in red.
Any others? Okay. Next item is the reading and approval of the previous minutes. Now, we have one from the budget financial report, which was a public workshop. Do I have a motion to approve the budget financial workshop?
I do so move that we approve the budget workshop and the financial report.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Any more questions, discussion? Any questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, the next approval of the previous minutes is our regular meeting, which occurred on the same day, March 5th, 2018. Do I have a motion to approve the regular meeting?
Do so move.
Second.
Any more questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, next item is the approval of the February 2018 financial statement.
I do so move that we approve the February 2018 financial statement.
Second. Since I was looking for it.
I'll read that.
Any more questions or discussion? Questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay. I'd like to call to attention that last month's meeting, we had a question concerning our audit from our audience concerning Mr. Cole's report. He said that on September the 30th, 2017, we had 23 operating days of income. Okay? Someone asked in the audience, what would it be in February? At the time, he did not have the figures. So we went back and got the figures. And I want to report that as of February 2018, we have a little over 3 months. A little over 3 months. 90 days.
We over 90 days.
5
Yes.
days.
A little over 90 days.
Operation
That's
revenue.
definitely an improvement.
Operating revenue. Okay? I would also like to call to the attention of council members, the sales tax income statement. If you pull that out, look at it. We had a question concerning the purchase of a flatbed, a truck flatbed, okay? When I took office, we had a truck that was parked at the water plant, not moving, staying there. And it would not run. It was declared surplus. And I decided to look into it, and we had the vehicle repaired. It is a 1-ton truck. And we had it repaired at a very little cost. And we're using this truck. We had the bed taken off of the truck. We actually put a flatbed with a gooseneck. Then we went on to purchase a, if you look on page, look on page 1 under repair and maintenance, public works. You see we purchased the bed for $3,648. And this came out of the street department funds.
Where at?
It's under,
Yeah, there's no 3,000
it's under repair and maintenance.
public works.
Yes, it's under the 7,341. This is where it came out of. I do have the bill showing the purchase, which if any councilman wants to see it. This is for the flatbed, and the amount was $3,648.
It's not under, it's not on
It's not on the line.
the line. It's not on the
No.
line item.
It's just gonna, it was taken out of, repairs and everything.
It's not this.
No, it's not gonna be this.
What's that include?
Okay? It wasn't done, this was done in, October
17.
2017. Okay? We did have quotes. Quotes were taken, and this was by far one of the best quotes we had. Okay?
That'd be cheaper.
That's the cheapest. We also purchased a trailer. I'll call your attention on page 2 on the sales tax income statement. Under capital outlay, street and equipment. The cost of the trailer was $9,096. If you look on page 2, capital outlay, street and equipment. We needed this trailer to move excavators, which we did lease later on. Move tractors, trucks, and other large pieces of equipment. Also construction material, pipes and jars. And this would save us about $300 a trip if we had to actually bring it to the place itself. This is what they were charging us, approximately $300. Okay? So we saved on that. I have a picture here of just recently. I don't know how many people can see this in the audience. This is a picture of our truck and the trailer. Now, on this trailer at the present time is one of our tractors that's being moved. It was moved to Crowley today to be repaired. So this was the first use of this trailer, and probably saved us big money for having to bring it, go back and pick it up, and stuff like that. They would be charging us. So this is one of the first savings. Okay? This was purchased on January the 8th, 2018, and this would be a savings for the town, and it would also be our own trailer. It would be ours. And of course it would pay for itself. The next thing is the excavator. Okay? If you look at sales tax, page 2, on the capital outlay, street and equipment, you saw where council approved or appropriated $75,000 for an excavator. Our CPA recommended a lease and possibly purchase after would be better. And the council voted for a 60-month lease at a cost of $1,319.53 monthly. Okay? With 6 months left in the budget, this would come out to $7,917.18, which is a long ways from $75,000, which will help the budget at the end of the year. And again, it's a savings for the town. Okay, does anyone have questions? I know there was concerns of backhoe. We have 2 backhoes right now. One is fairly, well, it's real good condition. The other one is in poor condition. Over the last 3 months, we spent $5,000, basically, to fix it. Okay? So we could've got 3 months lease on this excavator.
The lease has warranty,
Yes. Now,
so they fix it.
I have Mr. Chris Rowland, CAT representative, with us tonight. And if y'all would like to ask a few questions, basically on why an excavator compared to a backhoe, a new backhoe. He's here to answer questions or concerning the lease, whatever. Mr. Rowland?
That's a
Anybody?
good price on the trailer, by the way. I sold them for $12,000, so at now you made an excellent buy on that. I'm just here to kind of put some people's mind at rest as to why excavator would be better than a backhoe. Some of the things that you can do with an excavator that you can't do with a backhoe. The lease y'all purchased has full warranty. CAT has premier warranty. It covers the entire machine, including hoses. You also have a PM agreement, meaning we do all the oil changes, all the filter changes. Each unit has its own tracking device, so it's reporting to us, letting us know when it's due. So y'all don't have to call us, y'all don't have to do anything. We'll call you up, hey, you got 450 hours, your 500 hour PM's coming up. Can we schedule a date to come out and do it? We come to you and we do that. We offer that as a service with our equipment. One of the advantages of an excavator over a backhoe on this particular unit is it's a lot more versatile. I just sold one to the town of Mahmoud last year. The mayor was using it for drainage, clean out, but he was also knocking down old houses with it. So this thing has a thumb on it. So you can actually knock down old houses, pick it up, and haul them out. The bucket that was put on this is a 60-inch ditch cleaning bucket. I think it's actually gonna save y'all quite a bit of time going around town, cleaning out ditches, because it's a bigger bucket. Excavator, it comes with what we call auxiliary hydraulics, because we know our customers wanna run work tools. So, say you have a parking lot y'all wanna break up. We actually rent hammers that you can just plug and play with this thing. You just plug it up, and you can actually hammer and break up this concrete, haul it off. We do augers, if you have to like do fence posts or put some kind of hole, we rent that. If you wanna do ditch cleaning, like with a flail mower, like to trim grass or to trim trees, we also have that you can purchase. We don't actually rent those, but an excavator, I guess is my point, is it's way more versatile than just a backhoe that just picks something up. You can use it for several different things. Y'all cover with full warranty, and we do all the PMs.
What's the reach on it?
23 feet.
I have a question for you. On the lease, is there a non-appropriations clause in the lease?
As far as what?
Well, I mean, it's an election year. I'm running, but I might not get elected,
Right.
you know? And if the next council doesn't approve it, do they have a non-appropriations clause in it?
Yeah. I can see what you're
Or if a lease is gone, then you
Yeah,
pay for the
it-
holiday.
Right. It's a lot of-
And you have an option to buy after.
Right.
We can add whatever you want to. We're doing that there, we like that.
You know, I mean,
The reason I'm not nothing against these guys, but, you know, they're in business with money. They're not, that's a disadvantage to them if it's in there.
right,
So,
right.
to advantage
But I
us
mean,
if it wasn't there. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I don't wanna put in there,
It saves the,
I'm
yeah, I
sure we happy
mean,
to do it.
it saves the town.
Operator, the price is gonna go up if you take it away in a year or 2 years. If you decide that, no, on the contract, the price is gonna go up. They're gonna guesstimate to that too. They're gonna make the budget to that number. If I got it for 6 years and then all of a sudden you pull it away in a year, I'm gonna put a penalty clause in there. I'm the owner of it.
It's, yeah, I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen.
It saves the town money, which is most important.
Would you object to putting in a contestability clause for that lease agreement?
I would have to check with CAT Financial on that.
that tractor wheels? What is that on tractor wheels? Track?
Sure. Yeah, you do the work with Katie Parish, equipment?
Yep. They just bought 2 excavators.
Yeah, if there's an answer, I know.
So you said that y'all come out to fix it, if anything? So let's say something's broken and y'all gotta ship it to your company, you come get it?
No, y'all would have to bring it to us.
That's not included in the lease?
That's not included in the lease, correct?
If y'all can repair it over here, you can repair it.
Yeah, we can, if it's something that's simple, we can repair it here, we can repair it here. If not, y'all would have to bring it to us.
So what's the boom on it?
23 feet.
So they can't dig that deep without having slides and stuff, they got 5 slides. They can't go that deep, they can't get in the hole, or they won't let them get in the hole. So then what, 10 feet? You have to have steel sides so it don't cave in, the sides don't
5
cave
feet,
in?
yeah.
Oh, if you dig in like a roadway or anything?
No, we have sewer lines in town that's 20 foot deep.
Mhm.
Our people that's working anyway, they got excavated, cannot fix it because they don't have sides to put the steel so the sides don't cave in while they're in the hole. So that's when we used to get a contractor to come in to do it for the safety of the employees. Our employees get, so there's an additional fee that they're gonna have to spend some more money to get them stuff.
This is a lease with an option to buy?
Yeah, didn't lease yet.
Yeah.
What's the option? $1 like some of them, or are we looking at $70 million?
No, it's on fair market value.
Yeah, that's what it says. That's what it says.
Right. The way CAT does their leases is they look at the value of the machine and they project what it's gonna be in 5 years. So it's off of fair market value is what they predict.
So you could spend the $9,700 at the end of 4 years if it's in good shape, it could still cost you $30,000, $40,000. If it's in very good shape.
Fair market value.
Right. Fair market value is whatever it is at the time when it's worth.
Correct.
So this $9,000 is a false figure, that's what it's gonna cost you for 4 years. If you want to earn it, okay, and then they had said a while back, unlimited first year, use. And then the second year,
Warranty.
under warranty, the second year, there was a limited use.
Yes, it's 1,000 hours a year.
1,000 a year, so that's 20 hours a week, basically, 18 hours a week. Yeah,
You know, if you figure on
18 a month,
usually a year's about 240 working days.
240,
Yeah.
okay,
So you're looking at about 960 hours.
okay. So what happens if they use more than that? It's only on a year, they go by the year, or they go by the month?
No, it's at the end of the
At the
lease.
end of the year?
Yep. 5 years goes by, 60 months, say y'all don't wanna purchase, you wanna turn it in, then it has, I don't know,
You sold one to Mahmood, have you sold any of the local, other than Mahmood, Eunice, Crowley, Opelousas?
Acadia Parish.
That's the parish, I'm talking
Right.
about your municipalities.
We sold one to Mamou, I sold one to St. Mary Parish, Morgan City.
Parish, Talking
Sold one to
local here.
Franklin.
that's still over there. I'm
Yeah,
talking
we
local.
sell them all over the state, yeah.
Not local. Because basically an excavator is useless in a town this size. And I'm sorry, I'll say that all day long. You gotta load it every time you wanna use it. You gotta take time, load it on that trailer, bind it down. You get to the site, you gotta unbind it, take it down. That's all man hours wasted to where if you have a backhoe, you could have drove that backhoe there, did your job, one man, and you finished with it. Huh?
But it doesn't have the reach.
That's my
on
opinion.
it.
You don't have to, well, you don't have to reach on, you don't have to reach on the backhoe.
We have a 12-foot boom, that's as deep as you can go. As far as deep as in municipality.
5 foot deep, more than 5 foot deep, you gotta have the sides,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because
Right. Well,
that's,
that's normal
yeah.
for protection to the people, yeah.
And then also, what about when we spoke to you about the removal of culverts and stuff like that?
Right. With this unit, you can pick up culverts, like cement culverts, if y'all were installing them. Hold it close to the machine, pick it up and install them. Can't do that with a backhoe.
I'll tell you what, there's not much that's been done with a backhoe in the last few years.
No, on the wear and tear of the back.
A lot of years.
Spoke to you about that.
From what I understand, people were breaking cement with the backhoe. So if you do that, I mean, you're kind of misusing the equipment. You could damage the equipment. With this,
It's under warranty, right?
what's that?
He's talking about that.
With this,
I'm
if you
sorry.
rented a hammer,
I hear
action
first
to
one,
it, right?
I'm sorry.
But the traveling back and forth, the traveling, what's the biggest wear and tear on the back?
Yeah, that's fine.
Isn't it the traveling back and forth?
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One thing that this does have, that I didn't talk about, is this has rubber inserts in the track, so it's not steel tracks. So if you wanted to go into someone's yard and not tear it up, you can go in there, do what you need to do, and come out with very minimal disturbance to that yard, putting ruts in there. With a backhoe, you're gonna put ruts. And it's considered a low ground pressure machine.
Did you look at the lease of a backhoe, what was the price of, if you lease a backhoe for 5 years versus the lease of the excavator?
We wouldn't either. We have 2 backhoes already.
And what's the condition of the two
So what's the point of getting the
Once-
excavator if you have
The
two
point of getting the
backhoes?
excavator was this, the sewer department has to equip what's. And by getting the excavator.
What's the difference, what's the condition of the backhoe?
We have one good backhoe and one does not. The, water department has a good backhoe, street department's backhoe is
So there's one going, about to go out.
But every
Last
three
very
months.
long.
Every
But
3
every
months.
is different there.
every 3 months.
And take in mind, the sewer department has no equipment.
But I know the digger ditch and clean the ditches, and his to clean the ditch is a big difference. He's got a 16-inch bucket, and we need that bad around here, no drain on the lawn.
You're right.
I can take you
But not just-
200 pictures.
But not just that, it's also this, the street department, okay, let's say you're doing a drainage project. Trying to extend the life of the backhoe that we do have with the street department. So when the water department is using some, the sewer department will have access to the backhoe that we have now. But in case, you know, they can switch out back and forth. Trying to extend the life of the backhoe that we have right now. When we contacted Chris, we asked Chris, what's more expensive, a backhoe or an excavator?
Yes, sorry, I see you looking at
Yeah, I am looking at you, because you done dirty work for a long time.
Oh, damn.
Speaking about you,
But,
think about you, not me.
but Chris, what's more expensive, an
The
excavator? or-
backhoe was more expensive than the backhoe that you'll purchase.
That was more expensive than the excavator?
So if you look at either on purchase or leasing, the backhoe is more expensive.
Is that a Caterpillar backhoe or a case backhoe or that's?
Caterpillar.
Because people do what they're not supposed to do what they could when they break up concrete. He just told you why, that's why.
The average cost,
They overextend.
it's a subjective question, but I want an objective answer, because what's the cost of repair average in the first year of a lease? I mean, there has to be some kind of figures that you have, maybe not with you, that you can tell this councilman, the mayor, what the cost, average cost of repairs for a year, 2 years on an excavator, it's used in a municipality. Y'all go figure something for that.
I could pull them, but the thing is, y'all are covered under warranty, so as long as it's a, no.
That's my question.
Right.
What does that save the town because of that warranty is what I wanted to present to the answer the question. Which, we don't have an answer, not that's okay.
Right.
I didn't ask you to bring that.
Yeah, I mean,
Question.
equipment's expensive. Doing the PM is expensive. Some equipment, and it's $10,000 to come out and do a PM on a large excavator. So all of this is included. So as long as you keep up the maintenance, and it's gonna be, you know, the maintenance is gonna be changed with cat filters. It's gonna be all the equipment, all the filters, all the oil, all the hydraulic fluid, everything that unit takes. Y'all have absolutely no cost in that. I mean, it was included in the price of it.
And that's for the entire lease,
The entire lease,
the 60 months.
60 months, y'all are covered.
That's it.
I had a excavator when I was in business. The biggest problem, he could share a light on this, is tracks. You got rollers on those tracks, and a good track job is,
Final drive on that unit is $8,000.
like just a track.
Now,
How
the
many
tracks
years
are
you gonna get a set out?
warranted
Tracks on the warranty.
How many years you get out of set of track for $1,000?
Y'all probably shouldn't have to do anything. Maybe one set, maybe. For large customers that purchase large equipment and small equipment, all get what's called career warranty, which is what you'll have. And the reason they do that is because they see the value in it, that it saves them money. if something happens, say the engine blows up tomorrow, you don't have to worry about it. We're gonna get you a new engine, put it in there. If you need a loaner unit until we can get that done for you, I can get you a loaner unit. I mean, we're handicapped, we're all over the state. We don't even use the US Postal Service, because I have trucks that run the state the entire day. I mean, I send stuff to Reserve, I send stuff to Bossier through our own carriers, because we do that, we're all over the state. If you take this thing and you say, for some reason, you go to Lake Charles with it, and something happens, I got a branch in Lake Charles. If you go to Alexandria, I got a branch in Alexandria. So we're kind of strategically located, but one of the things that our warranty covers that nobody else's covers is hoses. And you're talking about, yeah, the biggest problem with them is people bust hoses all the time. That's covered in our warranty. It's not covered in anybody else's warranty, not any other piece of equipment.
How often does this occur?
What's that?
The hoses?
Well, say,
Depends on
because,
the operator.
yeah, operator error, you look at on,
Because we're
yeah,
talking
a piece
about,
of cement, they bust the hose.
yeah,
I mean, that's covered.
That's covered.
Even operators error.
Covered.
So that means, okay, and I know we work an excavator on the farm, and let's say the thing flips. Is
That would be
covered?
covered under the insurance. Yeah.
Okay, Justin?
Yeah, what he was trying to explain is like a backhoe breaking concrete, it's not made for that. You tie up all your cylinders. And once your cylinders start leaking, you have to change them, that'll cost you.
Yep.
But what he's saying, the hammer, that's what you use to break cement. A backhoe is not made, it's made just to dig, not to break cement.
Yeah, the cylinders on your backhoe, I guarantee you they're probably about 6 to 7 grand a piece. So if you're breaking that up, using it to hit concrete, they start leaking, and then they're done.
The repair cost right now is what's, about every 2 to 3 months is what's keeping us up right now.
how much is the repair cost every 2 to 3 months?
The mayor just said about $5 grand. And it's on cylinders and stuff like that, what Justin's talking about right now.
On a lease of a backhoe, everything you just said is still covered on your lease of your backhoe.
It's covered by the bumper.
Same thing on the backhoe.
Really good.
We have 2 already, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you
But going back to municipalities, like you just said, Mahmoud has one, Rain has one. They've already they're making the transition now to these type of equipment to handle. A 36-inch cover is an average large cover that we have in church. And in order to remove these covers, instead of going to, we're gonna still have to go to contractors. Okay, going back to the depth of digging, we have a line right now that excavator would be able to do it. We don't have the manpower to do that. We still have to contract out, hopefully not as much. But to go in and do some of the jobs that need to be done, we can handle more jobs now with the people we have and with the excavator. We'll be able to remove the 36-inch. That's our largest average size.
That job that was done at the hospital over there, didn't they use an excavator over there? How much did it cost us that job over there?
That was a little over 10 grand. We could have, that job, we could have done it ourselves. We could have done that with that excavator. Had we had that excavator. The job of corporation, we could have done that job of corporation. A lot of the drainage projects, we could do that with that excavator. We wouldn't have to contract.
I have a question that was just brought to the council's attention. Hypothetically speaking, if the town of Church Point was asked to assist, say, City of Rain, in whatever, and we would use this equipment, how does that affect the warranty?
It doesn't.
It would not.
Use it however you want to use it.
Okay, so even if you're in another municipality,
The only thing that
But
affects
still-
warranty on CAT equipment is if you use non-CAT filters, which you don't have to worry about because y'all are covered with that. If you don't do the maintenance on it, the maintenance program is included.
And one other thing to add, in the, I think the mayor might touch on that later, and we had talked about it last month. We had a grant for the improvement of that go. When y'all decided to go with the lease, I contacted the state, that a $10,000 upgrade, which would go for the purchase, and the first one said we was gonna purchase.
Well, versus the lease.
So we pulled that grant money back, and we transferred that over to the water department. But that grant was also to enhance the, to get the film and all that stuff, which now that comes with the lease. Which that would have been going down the fair on the dilapidated houses and stuff like that, which is something Chris had mentioned earlier. These old homes, all trailers or whatever, that needs to be torn out and stuff, which that's something excavator can do, which we can't do without.
My last thoughts are that, you know, it was already discussed and agreed by the council. I do have somewhat of a minor concern, and I think I'll defer again to Councilman Wimberly in terms of his concerns if, say, the upcoming years, if there's a budgetary crisis or something and you can't, the town somehow can't afford to.
That financial would work with you all.
Not only that, but the budget has to be, a certain amount of money has to be given to pay for that type of release. That's what Bill's talking about.
Yeah.
Eric, you, Joy.
Well, the other, and Brad, be able to help me out with this, that is going, that's being paid out of the dedicated tax to the street department.
I don't know where it's being paid.
That's being paid out of the street department. Which that's a dedicated tax. That's all out of the 1 cent sales tax. So it's not really coming out of the general
Yeah.
fund.
So, I wish Burton Gold was here to answer.
Well, I'm just saying.
But I
That would be coming out of 1 cent sales tax. So it's a dedicated fund.
And if something were to happen, I mean, you can always contact that financial and they will work with you on that. Because, I mean, say 3 years from now, you can't afford it, you gotta turn it in. I mean, we take the machine back and.
Yeah, I was scared. I never want to develop a reputation of hurting a public entity that just can't afford to. You know, I mean, come on, man. You got, and I just don't. Business didn't understand, but.
Right.
Come on.
And
What are you gonna do? You can't see the government asset.
And you'll receive a huge
Good luck
discount.
suing us because you're not gonna get a penny.
Yeah, yeah, you'll receive a huge discount on this too.
Some people will sue us.
We have received or we would receive?
We all have received.
We have received.
When the purchase of the equipment, because it is on state contract. And we do have a contract with the state.
And as it relates to if there was a situation where the municipality had to turn it back in, you said a financial group would work, but in reality, that is all in the fine print of the lease, right? So although you're saying that, and I appreciate you saying that,
Yeah.
we actually need to refer to what's in writing,
Right.
right? Okay.
But to follow up on that, Dean, is what they don't put in their contracts, it doesn't need to be in there, is the fact that they can sue the town for the remainder of the lease. And good luck, you cannot get a judgment against the town and seize a governmental asset, money, equipment, employee shirts, my shoes, I'm not an employee here. You cannot, if it's not covered by insurance, which that is not, the town is not obligated to, why do the insurance period? Because some good people get hurt that need to be covered. For rich people like Cat, we don't cover that. No offense to Cat.
Well, we like to partner ourselves with municipalities because we feel like we bring a service that would not be able to be done without our equipment. Most people are going to leases now, I can tell you that, as far as governmental agencies, because of the savings. One, you're getting a huge discount on state contracts. On this particular unit, 32%. Okay, so you'll save a third just by purchasing this unit with us. Second thing, y'all don't have any maintenance, so I don't have to have a maintenance crew to take care of this. I don't have to have oil. I don't have to dispose of oil and filters. So that's why a lot of municipalities are going to the leases, because we take care of it all, and at a very good price also. And you know your equipment's covered because it's had the genuine Cat oil filters, it's had the genuine Cat oil, it's had the hydraulic fluid, everything that, you know, the warranty says.
How much will it cost every time we have our all filter checks?
Okay, They go every 500 hours. Okay, so your first one is about $1,200 because they come out and do the filters, the oil, a couple other different things. The second one is 1,000. At 1,000, they do more stuff, so it costs more. So it's like, say, 1,500, 1,600. At 2,000 hours is the very large. They actually come out, they drain all the oil, all the filters, all the hydraulic fluid, put all fresh, everything in, like brand new. That thing is about $4,000.
Okay, I have a question after the council's done asking the questions.
Okay, that answers my question.
Yeah, but you made a good point. You said you used one on the phone.
Right,
A
right.
lot of people are getting away from backhoes because they are seeing that, especially with the excavators they have now, I mean, the technology in excavators, I mean, it's come a long way in the last 5 to 10 years. On this excavator, certain operators, they used to using a backhoe. Well, on a backhoe, you push down to dig, pull back to pull up. On the excavator, it's the exact opposite. On this unit, you can switch between that. It's called a pattern. So if your operator used to run a backhoe, he can set it up like a backhoe. If he's used to run the excavator, he can set it up to run like an excavator.
The question, Councilman, remember we had regarding the oil changes, filters, is that part of the question?
Yeah.
Why can't the town follow that protocol and do it themselves? It's not gonna cost us $1,000, $2,000, or $4,000, I don't think. Just a question, is that void the lease if we do the work ourselves? If we change all ourselves, is that void the lease?
If you want.
Just a question.
Right.
But he didn't, but sir, can you answer the second one?
It's gonna cost you more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because if the town takes on, if the town changes it itself,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and something, okay, yeah, if something isn't done correctly, or
You
we
think so?
void of the contract.
You think you're gonna need more money?
You're gonna pay more money than when you buy it from the product will be more expensive, but you're gonna buy cats, so you don't lose your use. You don't wanna use
It's
the
like a
water.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a gotcha provision in a clause in the contract. That's good.
Okay, I also want to add that we have roughly 54 miles of ditches in Church Point. So,
That's a lot.
it's a lot of ditches.
And they're gonna be clean by the end of the year, right?
6 foot at a time.
I'm trying.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rowe.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, and my last thing I'd like to go over is concerning as a cost-saving effort, I decided to switch our telephone and internet system to DTEL. And the reason is being done is, first of all, I said cost saving. It's also an underground fiber optic line. Okay? It will be for the city, for City Hall, and the police department. We have been having problems lately with our systems. And this system is much faster and more convenient. It will enhance all types of emergencies, especially if we get hurricanes, tornadoes, whatever. And we can also use City Hall as a place where we can meet and still have our system up. And in the past, we haven't had that. Most of your state agencies have this optic, underground optic service. And this would be a benefit to us. Yes. This would be telephone and internet, I'm sorry. And it would also help in our mitigation plan and we would probably save, well, approximate saving would be $11,000 a year if we went into detail. That's what.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get to it. Who are we dumping?
It would be CenturyLink
That's what I figured.
and Charter.
And Charter?
But
So they were cheaper
yes,
than Charter?
$11,000.
Charlie, that's because they got nothing to do.
Well, Charter, well,
You gotta go to Unisoffer.
you can get Charter.
No, but if you go to.
But they're cheaper than CenturyLink.
Yeah.
CenturyLink. CenturyLink, yeah.
Okay?
Killing the business community.
My mother-in-law paid for 6 years CenturyLink, $98 a month for telephone. Didn't know. But father-in-law had a motor, she never used the internet, they never told us for 6 years. she paid for it.
Any questions? All right, let's move on.
Mayor Stella,
Yes.
programming your new system, you are gonna, it's gonna cost you quite a bit, or will cost you quite a bit, to have a program your new system.
Pardon?
No, there's no program.
No programmers at all.
No, it's basically cut off, turn on.
And the new company you had mentioned that we're switching to?
Detail.
Okay, good.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, our next item, public comments on agenda action items, new business items 2 and 3. If you look at your agenda, does anyone in the audience have comments concerning do you have a comment pertaining? Okay, no comments? All right, let's move on. First of all, there's no old business. New business would be engineering reports. There's no action items. Reports were emailed to the council. All right, moving on to number 2, municipal department reports. First of all, warrant officer, Mr. Dale Thibodeau, monthly report.
Monthly report for March is 30 bench warrants, collected $8,145.50. 5 bench warrants were recalled, 4 served time and did community service. 9 drug cases were done and 31 citations were issued by narcotics and warrants. I am getting several complaints. I just want to make the council aware, because y'all fixing to start getting them too. Getting several complaints about the people in town about why we continue, why nothing's being done with the drugs, why we still got a drug problem, why we this, why we that, why we're not at every house, why we're not on every block. Okay. Since we've been cut back, remember, I'm just one person. So I tell them when they ask me why, I tell them go talk to the council. Because I'm not going to take the lead.
So sir, what do you suggest if I get a call from one of my constituents and he or she says, what are you all doing about the crime? What, in your opinion, what is the best response that we should
Well, we all know that anytime all the thefts and most of the problems we have in town is all stems from drugs. They're stealing each stuff to buy drugs. Okay? Well, by the time the size of Church Point, one man trying to work drugs is ridiculous. We need more help, more resources. We don't have, we had resources, but we had to cut them out. Not because of narcotics law, but we had to cut them out. And now, we got one person to do it all. We don't have a third man on the road to be able to do it. I have to stop what I am doing to bring stuff to the crime lab, to bring stuff to the district attorney's office and all that. So I don't see where the blame should fall on me. I'm not blaming the council, I'm blaming the situation.
and and I ask this question respectfully. So in about a little more than 30 days, the crime has spiked. Is that what we to believe?
No, I'm not saying the crime spiked, I'm saying the complaints were starting to come up. Because we all, back, before we had to cut, we had a third man on the road that was able to do stuff. I was able to get out and do stuff. I wasn't confined to an office. I wasn't confined to going to New Iberia. I wasn't confined to going to the DA's office and bring stuff all the time. I wasn't confined to having to answer the telephone 24/7. Now I'm confined to doing that. So as you can see, we're getting limited more and more. Just bringing it to the attention of the council.
On your list right here, Dale, it says 9 cases, drug cases completed. 2 of the 9 were misdemeanors.
That was done by the police department. 2 out of 9. That's what was turned in. Also, the chief, if you like, also to kind of save from having to hire somebody, I've worked several times patrol, so an officer didn't have to work, or the chief didn't have to come out, or the assistant chief didn't have to work all day nor work all night. My hours were flexible. I came out and I worked 3 night shifts.
Hey, Justin?
Yeah, concerning the police department, I don't understand why they have to lay off all the police officers when in 2012 they passed a 1 cent tax for the police department. Within the state operation, and it was voted in. But what happened to we have a police station that was built in a flood zone.
Thank you.
In a flood zone. Get up down there, you build it in a flood zone with no flood insurance. It costed $90-something thousand to get the units fixed, right there in that building. You can't operate it, it's coming out of the police department budget. You cannot operate. Where's the money? That's what I'm talking about. You know? And that was done before you was mayor.
There you go.
Right.
And the money they spent on the Garen building, what was that for? $1 a month?
Exactly.
A year, $1 a year, whatever, come on. That was a waste of money. If they were to do anything with the Garen building, you make a big old police station out of that, and then what you do, when they can't house any other prisoners, y'all take them in, they have to pay y'all the whole. The town couldn't make money off of that.
That's right, because you're right, I agree with you.
That building just sitting there, they bought a building that's doing
I agree
nothing.
with you 100%. And then you, it was in a flood zone.
You was in a flood zone.
Then you was in a flood zone.
Who was the mayor?
Lori, I'm gonna bring y'all paperwork that shows the jail was not built in a flood zone.
All you want, no, you don't, because every time it would flood,
I was born and raised on that land. How many times we couldn't cross the bridge because it
You
was
are
flooded?
wrong.
Thank you.
Right now. You are wrong. You're the one that did it.
Okay? Stella?
Why was the police department cut out? Why? Out of money. How much that police department cost?
The last budget is $578,700, and in the 1 cent sales tax, we collected $620,000. So out of $620,000, $578,700 is in salaries for the police department, and it's public record. It's right here in black and white.
Okay? When that police department was built, if it had been built where the land, other land could have been bought a little bit higher than that part right there. So said it was to save money. Gloria,
Yes, ma'am.
as you said, it was built in the middle of the flood zone.
Yes, ma'am, you knew it because every time it would flood, the other people on the
Anybody
north
who
end
was
could not come this
born,
way.
anybody who was
know that. I've
born
been here long
and
enough to know
raised
that.
in Church Point knew that that was a flood zone.
That's exactly right.
Okay, instead of paying more money and buying where it was not a flood zone.
Right.
And I was to the meeting when that was discussed. Instead of spending a little bit more money, building it where it was not gonna be flooded.
Absolutely.
Okay, we had to pay the money to build that jailhouse.
Yes, and then we had to build it to
Okay,
rebuild it.
how much more money we had to pay taxes to rebuild it?
Absolutely.
If it had been built at the
Absolutely.
other part.
Mr. Know-it-all is knows better.
If it had been built at the other place where it was for sale, and that we would have had more money, it would have cost us more money, but it had been saved. The police department would be having more money, they wouldn't be in the red, we'd have more police force.
Absolutely.
Dale would have more help, we would be safer.
Mayor, you know you can get a hold of your meeting.
Say what? Mayor, I challenge you, to the councilman. The most, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a part of this community, as you yourself is. I would think that the police department is there to do what? Protect us. I mean, if we can't get safety from our police department, so I challenge you to look around, go to the water, the waste, wherever. Cut there. Don't cut your community from their safety.
What we should have on the police department would be good policemen, nice policemen, general policemen, policemen like when I was growing up, they had 2 policemen in Church Point, 2 of them. They didn't even have a truck or a car to transport their prisoner to the jailhouse. They had to walk them there. It was Mr. Lou Wimberly and Mr. Joseph Briscoe. They held the peace. I was in town one Saturday night. They had a fight. Both of those police departments went.
All right, we need to move on, Miss Ella. Thank you, Miss Ella. But we need to move on, okay? Next is the chief. Thank you, Dale. Finish? Okay, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Chief, police report?
I'm coming back in the time, I've been working, when we have one short, I've been covering that shift, so on that note, I'm not sitting at the hospital. But anyway, that's about one of the things I have, other than bringing up, today. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
We're gonna go. Kim right now.
I'd like to recommend Kim Fortier as a part-time worker when needed.
And
At part-time pay.
Okay.
Part-time as needed,
Right.
And he's all qualified, passed all the exams, all that 9 yards. He's working time.
Next police. Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'm gonna move that we should,
Okay. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Any questions or discussion?
That's right. If you have anybody else in the department that can patrol, that might be in another position,
They were thinking, possibly one of our dispatchers, get with them.
Okay. Any more questions? Discussion? Comment? Okay. All in favor, signify.
Hold on.
If I may, Chief, I know that all of you know that we've stepped up, the chief has asked us to step up our ticket writers and help in our budget process. And I'm rather proud of my shift, and I've reported this to the chief, which is only me and Kevin Trelhorn, but we wrote 83 citations in the month of March, which is pretty unheard of. I think the chief said Fort Barry writes a total of $250 a month. So we're doing our part to try to help in this budgetary woes that we're in. And I would also like to add that I would venture to say 2/3 of those citations are non-residents of Church Point, which in my mind is a good thing. It's not our people that are taking some of them, but most of them are out of town. Rain, Opelousas, Eunice. So, and it's not just my shift, the other guys are as well. We should be seeing some relief in these fines. We should have already seen some. I just want you guys to know that those of us that are left, we're trying, and still trying to keep up with patrol as well. We're in the same boat as Bill, trying to multitask, make things happen.
It's just unfortunate y'all took so long to get to that point and start getting tickets, man. I understand y'all doing it, but man, it took a long time for them to step it up. I'm sorry. I understand it, but a long time before you start moving on it. Look at that years ago. That's my view.
Thank you. Ms. Monte?
Yeah, I want to thank you for stepping up on this. It's going to make our community safer by giving tickets, and also when you give a ticket, you may find something when you write the ticket in the car that may, may be suspicious of something else. So I think in that regard, it's going to make our community safer, and also, and thank you so much for doing that. And I, if I have a speeding ticket, I'm going to pay the price. And it happened to me. I'm going to pay the price. So it's just only fair, and it's only safe for us. So thank you.
Chief, I did want to ask a question too about the minor situation. I had 2 people call me recently in my district that minors are all over the street at all hours of the night. I had one of my constituents who had kids playing basketball in her front yard at 1 o'clock in the morning, to where she could hear it outside. So I just wanted to ask that maybe y'all kind of.
We responded to it. This was my weekend. I just came off my 3-day weekend, Kevin and I, and we responded to at least 2 calls on Ballroom Street for children playing in the street. I can think of 2 just off the top of my head. It all runs together when you work for 12 hours, you go home, you sleep, you get
This was prior to our, school being out. This was not.
I'd like to also mention that I'd say in the last few months, our juvenile activity has progressed a lot.
Did the parents get a ticket? Exactly.
Where are the parents?
We've charged some with child aid. We've charged some, I still say, I guess I'm considered old school, but I still think that parents should know where their kids are at, what they're doing, and who they're with. And like I said, I'm probably retiring this year because I'm probably considered obsolete, but I still believe in the old way.
Agree. Especially at 1 in the morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept Kim Bolte as a Do I have a motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Chief. Okay, next on the agenda is Mr. Roger Richard, Building Code.
I'll try to make it quick. I know everybody's in a rush. Do we have Miss Mary Augustine in the audience? because I asked her to show up. She's the one that has the property on 238 East Avenue. She called me, and once she got her certified letter, and she's one of those persons that bought the property or paying the taxes on the property. And I explained to her in great detail that doesn't excuse her from maintaining the property, and that we would probably be taking a legal action. I had Brad talk to her about it, and we have a couple of them in town. I found out a lawyer, Brad kind of backed me up on this, that if you're paying the property taxes on the property, it's just as if you own it, you're responsible for it. And then if you do any improvements on that property, and you have receipts of what you improved, you tore it down, you fixed it, whatever, they have to pay that to you at the time. They may want to pay all the taxes and liens and stuff on it. So that is a process that I'm asking Brad to, we're gonna start pursuing a couple of them that, or that identical situation. Right, Brad? Yes, sir. We can handle that? So I'll be getting with Brad on that.
Mr. Richard.
She did promise me she was gonna show up tonight.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I apologize for interrupting your report, but that's in my district, and we need to know tonight. This has been long overdue, right? What are we doing tonight?
What are we gonna do
We need
tonight?
a marker on this situation.
We are going to give her a demand letter. I'll get with Brad on that, a demand letter of 30 days, that we want to see some action, or she can start paying the penalties that's written into the ordinance.
Okay, so that's on
It's
record.
it's my suggestion.
Once, do we have to vote on that, or? Okay. So she's gonna have 30 days to appear.
No, 30 days to start tearing it down.
To start tearing it down.
She's already received, just in the she's
Right,
already
right.
received her letter, her certified
She
letter.
should have came tonight, maybe leave the council, where intentions were, or it's not, so we move to the next step, which is research.
So we'll get Brad to send her the legal notice of 30 days to back up this original letter that I gave her.
So if we come to the city now, goes
And I
around
did
and
explain
you
that
charge that person.
as,
Oh, yeah, she's gonna do something about it. Talk to her.
and if she doesn't do something about it, that's where we maybe utilize that excavator for the first time.
So
we're gonna get into that.
So again, within 30 days, if she does not start, not responding, she does not start doing something to the property, then the city will step in and we will demolish the property. Is that correct?
If the council votes to do that for her.
Do we have to vote on, can we vote on that tonight?
No, she might tear it down herself for the next 30 days. I'm talking to her, she's adamant about tearing down and rebuilding it.
You know, I just want to add, this is her first year that she pays those taxes. It was under someone else for 3 years.
Yeah, she told me that.
Yeah.
She was very nice.
And she was just made aware of the law.
She's very much in favor of repairing it.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And certainly the council, since it is in my district, we certainly want to take all those matters into consideration. However, the property has been not only an eyesore, but a safety hazard to my other constituents, and that's why I advocate for right now, all right? So again, this gives it, are you okay with that? Would you like, you good with that?
Thank you, Mr. Richard.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. I was gonna say, I thought we tried to keep you in the loop a little bit. Good deal. So we will have to pursue that one and a couple other ones that people are paying the taxes on that think they can do nothing about it. So, ready to be here a little bit more. The other thing that I just wanted to address, that's coming up real quick, of course, is the grass cutting stuff that we're gonna have to get on top of. The other thing that we're gonna send out second notices to is all the homeowners, businesses that we have sent notices to that are, I wanna say, dragging their feet, that hasn't been doing what they promised us. And if y'all remember, we gave a couple of them 6 months, Mardi Gras, this, that, and they just put lipstick on the pigs, I call it, to a certain extent. So we're gonna start kicking that back into it this coming month. So get ready for that. Another thing that I just want to let you know, thank goodness for a couple of good commercial jobs in the last month. Y'all were talking about money. We sold right around $3,000 worth of permits in town. So thank goodness for a couple of good projects. McDonald's renovation, Winn-Dixie renovations, stuff like that. So not a lot of money, but it helps.
What's the McDonald's? What's that going to be?
Convenient type of store.
Next to another convenience store? Oh, I'm sorry, it's an expansion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Can y'all do something about, the morning you have the cars, the old cars in the yard with no license plate and nothing, just sitting there?
Getting ready to address that right now. Thank you much. What I did, Todd asked me if I could get in touch with a towing company that would basically, at no expense, come into town, and once we do the legal process, and I passed on bar routes, I thought those cars were removed, they still sit in the ditch. I got Tommy Huffman here, he owns a towing company, and he's worked for Lafayette Consolidated Government, doing exactly what I'm asking him maybe to propose doing for Church Point. So I'm going to take a second to introduce Tommy to just how you do it in Lafayette, Tommy. And a little bit, of course, with Brad's guidance to keep us out of legal issues getting on people's property. Because I took him around town, and it's like, I think he was shocked on how many junk cars are around town. And it's hard to distinguish what is junkyards, what is mechanic shops, versus people's private cars. So, Tommy, just tell them a couple things on what you expect.
What we did in Lafayette 5 years ago, Lafayette, as y'all know, Lafayette's a pretty big city. Well, everything you always got to do is, you don't want to, make people mad or whatever. You want to go in there and you want to do your job and you want to do it the right way. So you want to dot your I's and cross your T's. You want to make the property owners aware before you start doing anything. You want to give out a notice. Now, if they don't adhere to the notices that you give, you have a towing company, as such myself, or you can get another one. There's plenty of towing companies that's willing to work and make towns cleaner, and that's part of what we do, That's what we're in the business for, of course. But there's certain things and certain manners, things that you have to do. Making notices out to the property owners. Some property owners, they might not even know they have a vehicle on their property. Somebody might have put it there. Might be a stolen vehicle. We passed, they had this I call it a junkyard or whatever, back over here, and I don't remember what road it was, but they probably had about 50, 60 vehicles there. Probably none of us know they might have stolen vehicles in there. You won't know that until that towing company goes in there, takes the cars out, runs the VIN numbers and stuff. You might have stolen cars all over your city and you don't even know. So there's different, circumstances that you got to do.
Is a vehicle without a license plate the standard we're going to use?
No.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's infringing on
being
people's
worked on,
Okay.
possibly being worked on, they're antique, if they're.
Here's another thing too. I don't know what your ordinance is. I haven't looked over your ordinance. I know in Lafayette, it doesn't matter if it has a license plate on it or not. If the vehicle has no insurance on it, it's been sitting there for 3 months, but the plate's still good on it, they ain't done nothing with it, they abandoned that apartment complex, for instance. That happens all the time in Lafayette. You don't know just because the vehicle has a good plate on it, if it even has insurance, if it's even running. If it looks like it's an abandoned car, more than likely, 99.9% of the time, it's an abandoned vehicle. They're not going to move it, they're not going to fix it, it's been sitting there, or they're going to wait for tax time or whatever. They're not going to hear your warnings. They're going to be mad at you because you want your town cleaned up and stuff. There's no easy or way out of it. You're gonna get people mad. That's the nature of the beast. So.
I think what Tommy was telling me also, it's like the chief has to work with us on that stuff. If he knows there's any been parked there for months, all that, and the city has to give us those complaints, because it's going to have to start gradually. Like Tommy was shocked when we drove around town and just seeing
this is not a month process right here. I passed some properties. It's going to take a company with me that has 5 trucks on the road. It's going to take me 2 weeks to clean up, and that's working 12, 16-hour days. That's just what it's gonna take to get the cars out, not tear up the property, not tear up your equipment, because of course equipment costs a lot of money. Y'all know, y'all about to buy an excavator, y'all about to lease one. Equipment is not cheap, tow trucks are not cheap. You know, so, I mean, it comes, you know, like I said, I'm willing to help this town out. I'm willing to come from Lafayette, help y'all out in any way I can. If y'all, you know, I know y'all got local towers here. I don't know if they have the room for them, if they even want to do them. You know, because if they wanted to do them, I think it would have been, you know, trying to get this town for a long time. You know.
So the price of the vehicle you pick it up or the next?
There's nothing the city gets charged, the towing company takes, I'm eating the cost. If they don't come get the vehicle, guess what? I'm stuck with it. I can tell you right now, the scrap is not good right now. It costs me money to pick up these cars, but at the same time, I'm getting my name out there. The city's gonna know who to call when they're gonna need it done.
I'll tell you this, too, Tommy, there is a $200 fee that the town can charge that person, but
correct.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Each vehicle, the owner of the vehicle can charge $200 maximum, that's state law too.
So what you're saying, Brad, is that the
What I'm saying
fine
is
that
it
the
goes to the
city
town,
is?
not the town, with all due respect, the town.
Well, if the city would, if that's in the city ordinance or whatever, and the state ordinance like you said or whatever, you know, you contact the towing company or whatever, they come pick up the car, but at the same time, that's a way to revenue money for the town.
That's what I want to put out here, Tommy.
Right.
It's not just a way for the town to pick up the car, get the car to sell it, it's a way the town can charge also. So if they don't pay it, then you put a lien.
If they go get the car, they're gonna pay us and him then.
If
No, they
want
don't pay the
vehicle
city.
back-
Tommy doesn't pay the city anything. He does it free at his cost.
No, I know that, but if they want it back, they're gonna have to pay him for
Oh,
storage.
yeah, they want it.
Yeah, but they get a notice, they get due process, and they can remedy the situation before Tommy gets there,
Okay.
way before that.
Yeah, your ordinance is
It's
10
not like
days,
you're
if
not
I'm
gonna
not
go and say,
mistaken.
we're taking this vehicle.
Once you tag a vehicle, it's 10 days, if I'm not
10
mistaken.
days.
That's plenty enough time, because with the amount of towing companies they have in this area, all they gotta do is pick up and call, and I'm gonna tell you right now, in town, to get that vehicle moved from one place, the average cost is anywhere from $50 to $85, depending on what type of truck you need.
Yes, sir.
I want to say, why would it have to be him come get it? You can't get no one else?
It doesn't have, go ahead, man, I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be him specifically. It's a professional services contract which is not required to be bid out.
But I have a camper in my yard, I'm repairing it.
The council can take it out, whatever. It's an administrative thing, we're getting, it's a professional service.
He says, he's also saying that he has, sir, you were saying.
I have a camper in my yard, I'm repairing it.
If it's being repaired, you exempt.
But yeah, I don't want him to come pick up my stuff, because I can have it.
You will get a notice.
I can have it moved.
You will get a notice. He won't just do a thief in the night. You'll get a notice.
We're not just coming in here by ourselves.
I want somebody else to move it if I want.
I understand that.
All right.
With all due respect, we're not gonna be coming in here, we're gonna be called to come here.
Oh, yeah.
We're not just coming in town and taking calls and.
Anybody else got anything
I'll work for myself.
Tommy, and what we're gonna do is, and I know the chief and everybody is local to the max, but we will be asking for their help to tag old vehicles. And it's gonna take 30 seconds to tag, picture of it.
6 months.
And, because that's part of the process, that we have to take a picture of the tag, we tag it this day, get them a notice that you got 10 days to get it moved.
You get your tags in yet?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Got him in Todd's office, waiting to be stuck on some vehicles.
All right.
So get ready for it. Anything else? Shaking your head, Mr. G?
I just want to make sure that there isn't this big mass collection of cars and then folks are storming into City Hall saying you violated my rights. Okay, so can we at least do this? I know Mr. Powell is here. If we could at least put it in the paper, the conditions by which a person can receive one of the notices. Okay?
Well, the property owner, like you said, has to.
It's been an ordinance for years.
Yeah, it's already been posted in the paper recently, but I think if you notify the public that we're gonna take your car with no charge to you, because Tommy's gonna pick it up, they'll probably come get it right now. Don't even tag it, come get it.
I don't want him to take mine, Brad.
Okay. I think that pretty much covers me, unless y'all got some questions that, we
Any more questions, Mr. Cooney? Thank you, Mr. Cooney. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Oh, that's something.
Okay. Harold Monday, Museum Curator.
Well, good evening, everyone. I want to thank the council for their unanimous support of our resolution for the development of the Church Point Cultural District. I'm happy to say that with the efforts of Mr. Todd and some other members of the community who wrote letters of support, our application was turned in last Monday and plenty of time before the April 1st deadline. So our next step is we're waiting for approval from the state. Looks like a good application. I can't see why they would reject it. And from there on, we'll be forming small groups of business leaders and other interested parties to start networking and promoting the advantages of Church Point Cultural District. Our next event at the View Presbytère is French Speaking on the Porch, which is going to be taking place Saturday, April 21st at 9:30. Free to all the public, coffee and donuts provided, so come on by. And as soon as I finish my state taxes, I'll be putting out a notice about our membership drive for annual membership drives, and invite you to help support the museum. Finally, I'm very grateful for the number of people who have visited the museum in the past month, especially for those, I'm sure you noticed them about, families taking Easter pictures on the porch over the weekend and so forth. And I also want to thank everybody for thinking of the museum as a location for public events. A couple weeks ago, the YEY group was all set to make museum one of the stops on their tour until they were a little put off by a swarm of bees that developed overnight. But anyway, we resolved that situation. So thanks so much, and come see us.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Since y'all had y'all meeting, I had 2 phone calls waiting on this district to be under the I don't know the proper word, waiting on money that they possibly will get to improve their buildings. I've worked with a couple of towns, Jennings, St. Martinville, and the owners of these businesses never received 1 penny. Now the city's got a lot of money to improve sidewalks, other issues dealing with those districts. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, it starts with a sales tax exemption for artists who produce original works of art in the town. And from there, the idea is to attract other artisans who come to town to have art shows, to produce works of art. But once you have a cultural district, you can also apply to become a Main Street district if you want to form one, or a historical district. The actual advantages are largely tax incentives. As I said, the sales tax. In the case of a business, say on Main Street, they would have a particular tax exemption for improvements that they make to their property. In the historical district, that's why I mentioned state taxes a moment ago, there are a lot of places where you can claim a state income tax exemption for residential energy credits and those sort of things, or renovating historic property. But the people who called you may be maybe in the right church, wrong pew sort of thing, where if you have a historic property, you can apply to get outright grants from organizations. And but as I explained, the cultural district itself and any historical district is strictly a tax exemption. there may be some state there are state grants to apply for, but it's, again, outside of what I told you.
The state's not money.
Well, there's that too.
I appreciate you explaining that, because I felt like a lot of people didn't hear that.
The idea that they could apply for these things are something that they're gonna have to do on their own. It's not you that's gonna apply for a grant for someone to get some money
Oh, right,
to
exactly.
fix their
Exactly,
property.
right. Exactly. But, you know, this is Lori Swear at Mauna Kea has applied for grants, those are parish-wide things. And, you know, sometimes you only get half of what you ask for, but hey.
Half is better than
Hey,
that.
that's right.
The grant.
Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Harold.
Thank you, Mr. Harold.
Okay, moving on, next item is legal, introduction of ordinance. An introduction of the ordinance to declare the Garin building, parking lot, and properties not needed for public use. Public hearing announcement is May the 5th at 6:15 on ordinance upon acceptance. Okay? Okay, in your packet, you should have a copy of this was suggested by our attorney, Mr. Brad Andrews. Yes, ma'am.
Is it May 5th? Because the 5th is a Saturday.
It's actually May 7th. May Okay, it's 5th. We will change that, make it the 5th.
Where's it, the ordinance has to be?
Fifth is a Saturday. Fifth is a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But the
I'm
document we
sorry.
have in front of us says the 7th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Well, I have some discussion, because this is one of
Okay.
the basic questions that I, can we elaborate on what this is, as far as? Right, that's not what this is saying.
There's all this is, right, you want to explain it?
This is for the lease by the Fire District.
It says introduction of ordinance to declare Garin building, parking lot, and properties not needed for public use.
The wrong one.
Oh, the millage?
The village, yeah.
Ordinance with Garin.
It's just an introduction of the ordinance we always sell the Garin property, except at the next meeting.
Look, I'm now confused.
You're just introducing it, you're not voting, you're just introducing it on the hearing. That's all
But
it is.
can you clarify what the introduction is for? The
Yes,
introduction of
yeah.
it?
Introduction necessary by law. Before you can pass an order, vote on an ordinance, you have to introduce it like this. And you have to define, identify the property, which is identified right here. You also have to give the reasons for the action.
And they are,
This one.
right, I'm addressing it.
To sell the Garin property, the parking lot, for the price determined by the,
Mr. Bill.
No, that was the map.
the estimate of value.
Yeah, praise.
Thank you, Dale. The appraisal. And the main reason you have to do this is when you sell property or lease it, you have to declare that it's not being used for a public purpose. It's just not. That's what it says right here. Main thing that Todd put in this. That's it.
Okay, property is not needed for public use. So public use being, can you define public use?
Yes, it's sitting there doing nothing.
So like if someone would, in the meantime, want to come in and view the property, like that would be interested in purchasing it, how do they go about that? If they would, that eliminate someone from walking the grounds?
No.
From looking at the thing?
No.
So public use would be.
The only reason the public use is, you cannot sell something that's being used for a public purpose right now. In other words, it was used for playground,
Right.
kids, or the police department, you can't see get out or selling it.
Right.
Because it's public, that's public use. It's not.
Yeah, but doesn't that have something to do if we're gonna let the police, the fire station borrow? Doesn't, what happens to that part of it?
No, that, they only need it for a very short period of time. That's already in the lease. If it's being sold, they gotta get out.
Well, I mean, the public use right here, wouldn't that be a public use by the fire department?
Yeah, it's public use, but with the understanding what's already in the contract, it says if it's going to be sold, then they must get out.
Wait. Can the council see a copy of the contract, the agreement that the Garin, that the fire department is entering regarding the Garin building? Because it appears, I'm not saying that it is, but it appears that we're rushing to sell on the Garin building and the property. And that's, I can understand at some point we need to do that. But we can't do it at the cost of having the fire department and possibly the police department getting in there and training as long as they feel they need to train. Because remember, the training that the fire department engage in, that will actually benefit homeowners in our community, all right? So let's not forget that. I'm just saying it appears that we're pushing to sell, but we're not even talking about the fire department getting their training done. We haven't talked about the police department. That's the initiative we led. We said we wanted the fire department to be able to have access to the Garin building, and it was also said that they would have access as long as they felt they needed to be in there. Since then, we've seen documents on top of documents talking about plotting it out, selling it, and doing all this other stuff. I can't, I'm not
Very good point.
well, I know it
I can
is,
answer
and
that.
the red flags are going up.
The terms and conditions, that's my part, I'm gonna explain what's going on. But by introducing this ordinance, doesn't mean it's passed, it's number one. If it is passed, you have a public hearing before you pass it next month. It's also published in the paper by Todd 3 times in a 15-day period. That's Jeff, Todd. That comes, you determine the terms of it. It cannot be sold until the police department or fire finished using it. It cannot be used for a 90-day period, can be different. You just get granting the right to sell it right now. Not right now, with introduction. You want the right to do that. That's what this is going to do if it's passed.
But this is basically what you do whenever you sell like a police vehicle. Same thing, you sell it, it's no longer being used for public use.
Well,
correct.
What Gene's point is that the fire department training is important.
Brett, my point is, the fire department's training is of utmost importance to me, all right? And so what I'm suggesting are 2 things. One, I think the council needs to see this lease agreement. The second question, really is actually should be the first question, has it been signed?
Yes.
As of today? Okay, good. So they can get in and start training effective
There's nothing
immediately.
to deter the fire district 10 or the.
So the agreement doesn't say anything about 90 days or anything, because the understanding was that they would be allowed to utilize the building for training for as long as they felt necessary.
Until the date of sale.
So have they been told that?
They wrote the contract. They wrote the contract. They wrote the contract.
I mean, that it's been signed, that it's.
I spoke to the fire chief and he told me that if they can use it for 2 months, 3 months, whatever, that's fine with him. That he understands that once the building is sold, that they would.
I too spoke with the chief, and I understand, I agree with what you're saying, but I think the chief was expressing that out of courtesy, because he was basically saying, we really need and want to be able to train there. So we're not trying to infringe on anything, so at whatever point you feel we need to get out, sure.
Well,
but listen, but that negates the fact that they need to be in there for a certain amount of time.
And he also spoke to me that they have an option that they can bid on it too.
Absolutely, and I want to make sure that they are able to do that. Absolutely, I appreciate that, Council.
And they also stated this is also the fire districts. They're saying the main thing they want to get into is the parking lot, not so much the building. They want to get into the parking lot and start immediate training there. their expression is not so much about the building, they'd like to use the building, but their main thing is the parking lot.
I understand. My final thoughts is that I just find it interesting that we addressed this 30 days ago and it was signed today.
And you were telling
I don't
me
know.
that-
It should have been signed.
You're telling me that if they go
The
on
fire
the
department's
parking lot.
without being charged for it.
Correct.
So you're going back to the same thing you've had before of the building being used $20 a year.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no, it's not
But
being.
you're allowing it to be used for
Only to the
nothing.
data store.
So why not sell it and give the town money?
Well,
No,
right.
Well, I know.
Right. Well, here's the reason why. Because we already know the past issues with the Garin building, right? But it is my opinion that we finally can utilize the Garin building for something that benefits the entire community. Because if you're a homeowner and the fire department is able to engage in that particular type of training, that actually helps house insurance, etc. So the community benefits.
Okay, are they burning
But they-
fires right there?
Well, I don't know
Because
the
there's
exact.
homeowners that live across the street that can't already breathe, so they
they're not
burning,
burning
and
fires.
they call
Well,
them fires.
yeah, I don't know. Councilman, you said they're not burning fire.
Is that
But
training?
here's my point. If we just allow buyers to come in and purchase it up, right? The community in general doesn't necessarily benefit. I'm all about having our community benefit, particularly the homeowners. However, if we allow the fire department to get in there and train, and maybe even the police department, well, up until it comes a time when the property is ready to be sold, right? But I certainly want to ensure that they're not out of there like within 30 days. So they need a certain amount of time to at least be in there.
But the thing is this, that's not happening, all, like what Brad said, we just start the process, G.
I
understand. And
understand.
also, it's not divided into several parts.
Right.
So you're not talking about kicking them all out. We're just starting the legal process. Tonight is just the acceptance of the ordinance in order to start the process.
I understand, and
So
I'm happy, right, and I'm happy it's finally been signed, but it certainly concerns me that 30 days later, and on the day of the council meeting, then it's signed. Please tell me it was just
No, that was.
error or paperwork
No, it
or
wasn't error,
whatever.
it wasn't confusion, it was because their attorney didn't give it to us till last Friday. We just got this.
Give you the revised?
This copy.
The revised?
Okay.
And the other thing
See,
is.
we don't say those things because they're not told to us.
Well, the thing is this too, and like Brad said, tonight is, in 30 days from tonight, y'all vote on it, and then so if you look at a month, if you look at another month, you're ready for.
You're talking about the introduction of the ordinance?
You can't even make it effective.
Yeah, that was
You
public
had to be
hearing.
effective until another 15 days after that.
So yeah,
So
you
you're
don't,
looking at minimum 45 days from right now. If you,
then it goes, then that's when you start the
vote
process
for
for
the
the city.
introduction of the ordinance to go forward, but you put terms in where we don't want it to be effective for 120 days from the day you vote to sell it.
And then the type of sales we're gonna have, and we gave Brad us was talking about that the other day. Then you had the actual chief in here saying that they would like to bid on the bill.
Yeah.
No, I understand. No, I
Well,
understand.
that might hurt if we hold them out of it because they can do more with it if they own it, so that might hurt.
Once again, all that has to be considered.
I just wanted to make sure that they're in there and that they get their training.
So right now, where we at right now, Brad, is just, I have a motion, just an introduction of the ordinance.
Is there any parties interested in any four of those parcels right now?
At the time when we had the lease, it was prohibited from the lease, we had, there was 4 people who had called who were interested in the problem. But they had to go because it was under the lease. They couldn't wait.
Are there any currently that have expressed interest in purchasing?
They were a while back, but once again, this, the latest one was a fire chief. As it was expressed in the public meeting.
Well, we're separating it into 4 parcels, so that is interesting.
Yeah. But another thing too, and it goes without saying, the more lawns you grow, the more. That half acre of
That's how
area
it's
is
going.
going to 8.
I couldn't warrant that, that was the problem that they have. I still like some of the ones that's available now.
Although that PDF
Yes, you have a motion.
I just go in that we, adopt ordinance number 050718, an ordinance thing.
You're not adopting it, you're introducing it.
Not adopted.
I'll second.
An ordinance 050718, declaring the gang adopted the fine in lots 1, 2, and 4. Not needed for public
Any more comments, discussion? Any more comments or discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, next item.
Sure you know you can take for a public hearing, where the public has a right to give their input on the parameters of the sale, the guarantee, the property, parking lot surrounding it. Public hearing 6:15, Mace. Correct.
So is that going to be before the council meeting, at the council meeting, or after the council?
Okay, next item, resolution, adopt a millage rate of 7.01 mils. In your packet, you will have that. Do I have a motion?
This is the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or discussion? Any comments or discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay. Next item is reports. Consideration of proclamation for Earth Day. Mr. Malbrook.
First of all, I want to thank you, Todd, for bringing this to my attention earlier today about the Earth Day. Earth Day this year will be on April 22nd, and I felt this was important because, of course, we live in one of the best part of this sportsman paradise. However, understanding the importance of Earth Day is something that I think we should take into consideration, considering 94% of our drinking water and 93% of the bottled water worldwide that we utilize are full of plastic particles and chemicals, as well as pesticides, many of which are linked to cancer, premature puberty, birth defects, insulin resistance, and other major diseases. So what I'm asking is that either in your own way or collectively, we celebrate the importance of keeping our earth healthy, not only for ourselves, but for our future generation as well. And again, this will be on April 22nd. So hopefully, Mayor, you and I can get together and we can do some collecting of trash or something. That'll be it. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I'll go ahead. No, Councilwoman, you go right ahead. Thank
I'll
you.
make that motion that we declare the Earth Day. February 2nd. April.
You were asking for a second, Mayor?
No, I'll second.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay. Letter C, letter B on the report. Liquor license exemption for the Church Point Volunteer Fire Department car show to be held at the Church Point City Park Pavilion, June the 2nd, 2018. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Any comments or discussion? Any comments or discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. announcements by myself. In response to last month's water main break and to address the public's request for more clarity on how long they will be without water and why they are out of water, I've spoken with John Larson. We have come up with a new protocol. Protocol going forward will be for the water department to secure the water system by shutting off the valves to stop flow to the break. Access the damages, access the need for repair, inform boil advisory, inform the residents at home, those not there, we will place a door plaque on the door, send text messages to myself, city clerk, and all council members of the breakage. This way everyone will be informed. And finally, utilize the police department by sending an on-duty officer to inform the affected neighborhood of repair time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And don't we have to go and dodge it?
Yes, that's all gonna be in there.
It's all gonna be in there. Yeah.
Okay? Everyone, any questions? Council? Okay.
Everyone will be addressed, everyone will be notified to when someone calls, they will be trained to come in. If they can't get in touch with you, they should get in touch with us, or vice versa, to where somebody will have an idea.
No.
It doesn't matter if it's in Dale District, they'll notify all of us, you know.
Okay, the only thing to take in regards to this, just remember, if a water line breaks at 2 o'clock in the morning, there might be a little difference in that, because we sure the heck don't want anybody going knocking someone's door at 2 a.m. in the morning. And of course, water lines are normally fixed in the daytime. They do not fix water lines at night because of, you know, problems that come up.
2 in the morning,
Okay. My next announcement, today I received the grant amendment letters to be signed and processed totaling $36,632 towards the request of funding the electronic mainframe board of the water plant. The total cost of the project was $47,400. The remaining will be paid. The remainder to be paid for local funds. Upon completion and acceptance of the amendments, we will move forward with the installments of the mainframe board at the water plant, hopefully this month. If you remember, John came in and asked for, he calls it, we call it the brain. And we're looking at possibly repairing that this month. Okay? Okay, also for the, I have the, I don't know how many people saw the lease for the Garin. This was signed today, and it's done for the intergovernmental agreement with the fire department at City Hall. Okay?
Does Lee have a copy?
Pardon?
Yeah, he made a copy.
I just wanted to make sure he was covered, or I was trying to cover him.
He brought it up this afternoon.
I just wanted to make sure he was on track.
Okay, closing comments, okay, from Mr. Malbro.
Closing? Oh, wow. First time I'm speechless. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, Ms. Joy?
I say thank you all for coming out. I hope everybody had a good little Easter break. I'm gonna get a brand new daughter-in-law on Saturday. So I'm excited about that, and I thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Dale?
Thank you, folks.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.